Hey everybody, and welcome to Real Life Robots. My name is Taha, and I will be taking a deep dive today into a very common household robot. So for everyone watching this video, this is the first episode of a web series that me and my robotics team, Team 5795, have decided to create. We wanted to dig into how robotics affects many people's lives, whether they realize it or not, or how robotics can just be seen in their everyday lives. And we wanted to look into these robots and see how they operate, what makes them tick. The robot I will be talking about today is a very small, friendly little vacuum cleaner in many people's homes, the Roomba. So for any of you who don't know what a Roomba is, it's a very low to the ground circular robot. Um, and it pretty much operates as as an automatic vacuum cleaner. So it uses a variety of different sensors to decide like how it should travel across your home and where it's been and like where does it need to pick up more dirt. It can decide when it needs to charge itself, when it needs to empty its own dirt bag using all these different types of sensors. So this is a little bit into how the room will work. So as you can see, it just moves around pretty much using these two back wheels. They're both controlled by their own motor, uh, and they turn by either one going faster or slower than the other. And this front wheel right here also turns by itself, and it helps guide the Roomba a little more. Um, so right here are two counter spinning brushes that many Roombas have. Uh, that lets it pick up. This is how it picks up all the dirt. It operates just like any brushes on normal vacuum, and it leads right into this dirt bag back here. Um, this side brush right here is for when the Roomba is traveling across a wall. So as you can see, the Roomba has to travel over dirt for it to pick it up, but it can't travel over like the edge of a wall because it has to stay flat on the ground. So when this comes up any edge, any corner, or any piece of furniture or wall, this will take dirt off the wall and move it out towards the Roomba so it can pick it up. So a little bit of how the Roomba decides to move around. So it uses infrared sensors right here on on the underside in the front, and photocell sensors. And what it does is it'll send out infrared light, and if it bounces back to the photocell sensors uh, within a certain time, or the Roomba will know that okay, there's an object right in front of me, and it'll know to turn around. Um, Most Roombas also have uh, a, a infrared sensor on the bottom. Like these sensors are pointing outwards, but these sensors right here on the bottom. And what these sensors help, as well as the front wheel, is if the Roomba travels over any ledge, like travels over a stair, right? It obviously like can't go down the stairs. It doesn't want to drop. It doesn't want to damage itself. So if it goes over some stairs and the infrared sensors don't read back any light and knows, okay, there's an edge here, and they'll back away from the edge before traveling over it. Um, so there's also a side bumper on on the fronts of Roomba. As you can see, it's kind of a little space for this to kind of click in, and this is in case the infrared sensors didn't pick up anything, or the Roomba is like if there's maybe like a gap in the furniture, or is hitting something kind of narrow like a table leg. Anything that the infrared sensor didn't pick up on, if the Roomba touches something, it'll back off and turn in a different direction and continue moving along. So, one of the more advanced sensors on a Roomba is something called a piezoelectric sensor. It uses this thing called the piezoelectric effect, pretty much where there's certain materials, certain crystals, where if they're compressed, like shown here, they send out a small electrical impulse. Um, and so the Roomba uses one of these sensors wherever there's a large amount of dirt or dust. So if there is a large amount of dirt or dust, this sensor would send off more electrical impulses than what it normally would. And if the Roomba recognizes that, it'll know that it has to travel a little bit more slowly or back and forth multiple times to get up all the dirt. And until the piezoelectric sensor stops picking up on dirt or dust that it's touching, then the Roomba will know to continue on. So obviously they have to use a very sensitive type of material for them to be picking up on dirt or dust. So the piezoelectric sensor will always be picking up on dirt and dust. But if there's a larger amount, there will be a larger electrical impulse because more of the sensor is like being compressed and touched by the dirt and the dust. So if there's a large enough signal, that's when the Roomba decides, okay, this is a big clump of dust and I need to go slow. So a little bit how into the Roombas use all these sensors. Older Roombas kind of just moved around a room randomly. They had it would usually take about like 30 or 45 minutes to clean a room, because they would just keep on going back and forth. They wouldn't really commit to like a line in the room, and they wouldn't know where in the room they are. Um, they would just move until they hit some objects or come up with a larger dirt cluster, and then once that's done, they just move on to the next object, keep on moving around until they're in the clear. Um, so newer Roombas actually use this more advanced technique called visual slam, and this is a kind of basic diagram right here. These black words are kind of hard to read in this background, but essentially what it is there are encoders on the wheels, and then also the infrared camera that the Roomba uses to decide where in the room it is. So once it uses the infrared cameras to decide like it's in this certain position in the room, it'll know where to go afterwards, and it can kind of map the room once you've used it enough in the room. So the more you use it in a certain room, the more it becomes familiar with the environment, and the more effective this type of mapping will be. This is also really important for new Roombas because it allows them to do it allows them to find where their charging station is. So if a Roomba is low on battery, there's no need for you to go pick it up and charge it. It'll know that it's low on battery, it'll go back to its charging station and charge. Or if its dirt bag is full, like it's shown in this picture, it'll go back and it'll um, put all the dirt into a disposable bag in its charging station, and then come back and continue vacuuming. So with that being said, with these newer techniques, it'll be easier for Roombas to travel between each room because we'll know what each room looks like, and we'll know what like the doors look like and where one room ends and another room begins. Also, a lot of Roombas are starting to have Wi-Fi connectivity, so you can actually program into an app, or you could just set boundaries with some visual markers and say if you see this, or uh, if the Roomba is picking up on this specific object, then don't go past it. You know, that's where I want you to be. I just want you to be cleaning this room for right now, and the Roomba will recognize it. But that's pretty much all I have to say about the Roomba. It's obviously it's more advanced than it was 10 years ago when it was just randomly bouncing. Now there's a lot of autonomy with the Roomba, and you don't really need to vacuum your floors if you have one. Um, Obviously, you'd probably if you really never wanted to even touch it, you'd have to have one for like each floor of your house because they can't go upstairs, which I guess is the only downside. But other than that, it's a very effective robot, and yeah, that's all I have to say about the Roomba.